My name is Elizabeth. This evening on Talk, Listen, Share, I have a very, very special guest with me, my daughter Victoria. She was one of my caregivers during my active cancer journey. Not only was she a caregiver, but she was one of my number one cheerleaders. I am so grateful and thankful that I had her at my side. I don't think I could have gotten through some of those really difficult days without her. If you haven't followed my journey, I am an HR positive stage 2 invasive breast cancer survivor. I am 3 years out and I'm very proud of how far I have gotten, but it hasn't been easy. It is because of the wonderful programs that Shay's Warriors has offered me, including the opportunity to go to the retreat and begin the healing process. Because of the activities that I have done with Talk, Listen, and Share, as well as Coffee and Connection, I have been able to heal some very deep wounds that I didn't address while I was in active treatment. I didn't allow myself to discuss the pain and the hurt and the loneliness that I was feeling during my active treatment. It got so bad that I was in a very deep depression. It was a high functioning depression, and no one really knew that I was lost and that I was struggling, and that many times I just wanted it all to end. It's something that I don't like to really discuss because it is so painful, but I am so proud of what I have done and what I have accomplished, putting in the work to heal my heart and to heal my soul. But as a caregiver, sometimes we forget to acknowledge that they too have felt the trauma and that they have their own journey and their own stories to tell. So, Victoria, this evening, we'll walk that story together. If you can tell me a little bit about yourself, and then we'll just start having a little conversation about your journey, what you've seen in survivorship, and how you're doing today.
Yeah, of course. Thank you for, giving me this chance this evening. So again, my name is Victoria. I am the only daughter of my close family. So, hearing that my mom had breast cancer, um, it was really scary for a number of reasons. Um, Obviously, when you learn a family member has cancer, it's never a good thing. And I'm especially close with my mom. So hearing that my mom had cancer, um, it really it tore me up inside. At the time, during her diagnosis, I was going into my final year of college. Um, And on top of that, I was also working a part-time job to help cover my bills and help with, some of the household things going on while my mom was doing her treatment. So to say things were tumultuous is a bit of an understatement. Not just, physically, but emotionally and mentally for everyone involved. Um, it that day when we found out, it was like a bomb had dropped. Um, it was loud, it was scary, it was devastating, and then it was quiet at the end. And that day, I can remember that day clearly, and it's that's it was a rough day. And it's hard to imagine that it's been almost 4 years since that had happened. Um, so I'm excited to share, everything that has led both of us to this point.
Victoria, your honesty really brings tears to my eyes, and you know, um, it's been difficult to go through this journey, but I honestly like. I'm so grateful I had you. I still remember the moment I watched your hair fall to the ground. So you're such a strong young woman, and I am so proud to have had you as my caregiver while dad was away at work. Um, but, you know, it's been 4 years since diagnosis. I've been in survivorship for 3 years. Tell me, how are you doing today? Physically, mentally, emotionally? Do you feel that you're starting to heal from some of the trauma? Because it's apparent that the cancer journey was traumatic on you as well. And it was an emotional journey watching me go through it. How are you doing?
Um, Honestly, I've been pretty good. I think, I wasn't able to be with you the day you rung the bell that you were declared cancer free. But, when I saw the video of you ringing the bell, it sparked some hope. Um, I was so happy, I was proud that you were able to push through and make it to that moment. Um, so, it after that I was, happy that you were on the way to being healthy again. But there was also, after being declared cancer free, cancer patients aren't they're not in the clear quite yet, Doctors told you to keep an eye out for 5 years, for anything that may have popped up. And, you told me that, and I tried not to think about it, but it it has over the past couple years, it continues to linger, that little spark of doubt. Like I can't I don't want to see you go through that again. I want to hope for the best, and I will continue to hope for the best. I've only seen healing from you. Um, and you know, everything that this experience has taught me is to be extremely grateful for, everything in my life, especially the people around you. I can say that I have my mom. People can't say that. A lot of people can't. A lot of people have lost wives, sisters, aunts, daughters, but I was lucky to, have my mom. And it really changes your perspective on life when, you're you could lose a loved one. So, uh, it the experience has made me a lot more grateful for just everything in life. Um, and probably made me more aware of, being in the present and enjoying what life has given me. Uh, but yeah, um, I've there's still a little doubt, but I can't let fear grip onto me. I won't let it, because then I'm not going to go anywhere, and it's not gonna help you with your healing process, and it's not going to help me with my own healing process. So I keep pushing forward because there's so much that is worth living for. Um, and so much more that so much more experiences that I need to share with those I love.
Yes, absolutely, Victoria. And I totally understand. Like, um, we get to do a lot of stuff that some don't, and we're very grateful for that. I have learned gratitude from my personal journey, and I've learned to live only one day at a time, because if I think about yesterday and if I think about tomorrow, I may lose something special that may happen in the moment. But I do want you to know that um, it's okay to feel the way you do. There's moments when I do stuff, even in survivorship, every time I go to get that mammogram, there's still that little nagging feeling, like there's a little bit of fear. And all I can do is just put my faith that I'm going to be okay, because we have a lot of memories that we need to enjoy. I was just sharing that I got to see you get married. And that was one of the highlights of my survivorship. To see you get married was very special. Um, but as we're having our conversation, I do see that the cancer journey was very traumatic for you, and that you're still trying to heal that trauma. Are you reaching out to friends? Are there any tools that you're using? Are you going through therapy? Are you using anything like I do? I go to Coffee and Connections a lot to help get through some of my tough days, to have that sisterhood and brotherhood, that family that understands, is very healing to me. Do you have friends or anyone that helps you go through the tough days, even when you're just, you know, you're thinking, "Oh, mom just had her mammogram. I'm waiting for that text message." How do you get through those days?
Yeah, well, first of all, the first person I think of is my husband Joe, who, when you first got your diagnosis, we were just boyfriend and girlfriend, and we were living long distance. Um, and he was a big emotional support for me during that time. He let me vent out my frustrations. He listened to my concerns. And he was just overall there for me when I I just needed an outlet. Um, because like you said, it was a rough time. And the last thing I was gonna do is vent to you, the one who has cancer. That's just crazy. So, um, he was definitely my rock that year and continues to be. Um, whenever you let me know, oh, hey, I'm going to a doctor's appointment, he's the first one to know, like, hey, this is going on. He's like, it's gonna be okay. You know, she's been clean. We don't have to worry about it until we have to worry about it. So, um, he's been my number one through these past couple years, through the entire process. But um, I've also had other friends, and teachers who, you know, had supported me in the process when, like I mentioned, I was going through college, during your diagnosis, and one of my professors actually experienced the same thing, that his mother went through breast cancer twice, actually. And, he was a biology teacher, so his words were honestly pretty helpful. If you think about it logically, I like to think things logically, so it made me feel better to talk to him about it, to just kind of be like, everything's gonna be okay. But even in recent years, I've had my friends, Rachel, who was one of them. She was a big outlet for me, um, to talk about all of these things, because I'm happy to share with people that my mom is a cancer survivor, but I'm not going to tell them how it was scary, how it was traumatic, how, I wish it didn't happen. But she was one of those ears that was willing to listen, and um, had her own experiences with, family members experiencing some chronic health issues, and not quite cancer, but she tried her best to empathize, and honestly, she was just there to listen when I needed someone. But on top of that, I also took up journaling, and then more recently, I have also taken up going to therapy. it's a resource that I probably should have taken sooner. Um, it's mental health in our family has not been the best, but as each generation goes, I think we've become more aware of how it affects us personally. Um, so I'm trying to take those steps to you know, see my therapist and kind of go over these things that, have happened and learn to manage everything that's happened, to emotionally accept that I went through this and, you know, it's like we mentioned, you're not quite in the clear yet, but it's not worth stopping life for. So, those are some of the resources that I've taken up since your diagnosis and even after you were declared cancer free.
I'm really proud of you for taking the steps that you have to take care of yourself because it's so important to address any trauma that you may have or may still continue to feel from cancer. Um, the journey was not easy, and I know that it was not. And um, you're just a beautiful soul, Victoria, and I'm so thankful for that. But I also want you to know that I have come to terms with my cancer journey. When once I was very, very, very angry and I would tell God I was angry, now I sit back and I am thankful for that journey because I have found my purpose. I have found joy in my life. I went back to school. I'm doing good things. I'm giving back to others that are hurting. And I just want you to know that it's okay, that I am okay. And yes, I still have a few more years to go to get the 100% clear, but I am so proud of my journey through active cancer, and I'm so proud of the journey that I'm doing now in survivorship and to see how far you've come along through survivorship, seeing you get married and having your own life. You're an amazing young woman and you're so strong, and I'm so proud of everything that you are and who you are becoming. And I know there's a lot of great things out there for you. Um, can you tell me, like, in your perspective, how has my participation with Shay's Warriors impacted you? Have you seen the impacts that Shay's Warriors has done for me?
Absolutely. You know, I there's been progression over the past couple years since the first diagnosis to where we are now. Obviously, when you were in treatment, you were not well. You were not yourself. And it was the most vulnerable I'd ever seen you. And it was it's not my favorite moment. Um, but after you were declared cancer free and you found Chase Warriors and you went to the retreat, you became a different person in the best way possible. Um, you you blossomed essentially. Let me gather myself here. Um, you like the phoenix, you rose out of the ashes. You started with this, it was rough and gritty, but you started going to the retreats and you started meeting their people. You started working with Shay, and it just it just blossomed from there. It got better. You were so happy. You were smiling again. That's all I'd ever want for you. Um, you know, the fact that cancer cancer was like it was terrible, but it allowed you to jumpstart your life, and it was beautiful. You know, like you said, you started college, and you're working towards a degree. It's it's been inspiring. It really has. And I'm so happy for you, honestly. I
It's okay.
you're
Take a moment. It's okay.
oh gosh.
It's okay. This journey it's very emotional and you know, I think it was time that we had this touch base, So important that we check upon each other and make sure that we're doing okay.
Absolutely.
I thank you so much for being so vulnerable with the Talk, Listen, Share audience. I think it's important um, for them to see the caregiving portion of the journey, and how our adult children at times have to be that they have to be that strong rock for us when we're not feeling so good. And you were definitely a strong rock for me. You held it down for me, and so grateful that you were there to hold the glass of Gatorade when I couldn't eat anything, or give me that bottle of Ensure. And I'm so grateful that I get to text you that I'm cancer free still. I'm so thankful that I've gotten to tell you I have overcome hurdles, and that there's so much more out there for us, and there's so many more memories. And the tears are healing. The tears will one day not hurt as much and not fall as deeply. It'll be more of joy. My tears that I cry now are of joy, of the successes that I've had in survivorship, and the work that you're doing to heal yourself in your own caregiving survivorship. Um, they too will become tears of joy that you were able to overcome such a difficult journey. I can't imagine what you had to go through watching me be sick, but you are definitely somebody that I admire. Um, Going through school, shaving your head, looking at college pictures, and knowing that you didn't care that you had no hair. And um, you're a special daughter. You are just a diamond. And I can only wish that all cancer patients had a loving caregiver like you that just went all out for them. The love that you have shown and shared to me with me. Um, it's one of the reasons why I am here today because I wanted to make these memories with you and I wanted to have these conversations with you. And I want you to know that it'll be okay. And I just I want us to heal in the survivorship era. I don't want to look backwards. Let's look forward and um, enjoy life. Are there any is there anything in survivorship, in your caregiving survivorship, that, or any advice that you would want to share with the audience, with our talk, listen, share audience that may help them, um, whether they're an adult child, a parent, a spouse? Is there something that you can share with them to help them get through survivorship, day to day, or anything that has made it easier for you?
I would say, you know, if you're able to find a support group, find individuals that are experience the same thing as you. Cancer is very prevalent, and there will always be someone who is probably in the same boat as yourself. And if you can find a way to reach out to them or find some sort of resource group in your community, that would probably be for the best because you can't support your loved one who is, you know, going through cancer and treatment if you're not also caring for yourself. You can't give all of yourself if there's only 0% of you. You have to take care of yourself as well so you can be there for your loved one, and support them in all the ways that they need because it takes an emotional toll. It really does. It's not an easy road to travel, and finding support in some way, shape, or form is honestly the best way anyone can manage to get through a cancer diagnosis, in my opinion. Um, so that's kind of the advice I'd give to someone.
Well, Victoria, I really want to thank you for taking the time to sit down and talk with me. You're all the way in Colorado, so there's a little bit of a time difference, but I'm so grateful for your time, for being so vulnerable with our audience, and for being so honest with everybody. I admire you so much, and I'm so proud of you. And I look forward to many more of these conversations and the continued healing that we both share. And I think your advice is spot on. We should all look for the support, whether we find it in Talk, Listen, Share, Coffee and Connection, our men's group, Yo Bro. I think it's really important that we find our people. And for me, that has been Shay's Warriors, Life After Cancer. Um, Being an ambassador has been one of the greatest joys of my survivorship. And I'm so glad that you have been here to see the joy that being a part of this organization is for me. Um, do you have any closing comments that you'd like to share before we go, or um, anything else, any last minute um, comments you'd like to share with my Talk, Listen, Share audience?
Um, for anyone who's listening, um, Shay's Warriors is a fantastic group to join. I couldn't get it out of my blubbering earlier, but um, my mom has blossomed from recovery and has become a totally different person because of their group and because of the support that they've given her. So if you have the opportunity to join them, to talk to them, I highly recommend it because they're fantastic and they know what they're doing and they're just, 100% great people. I've met some of them. There's some good people there. So I join Shay's Warriors, reach out to them.
Oh, Victoria, that was a beautiful message to all our Shays Warriors family. And for those that are going to be joining us soon after that empowering um, discussion that we just shared. Um, I hope that everyone really got a sense of what we have been through. It is an honest, a vulnerable, a traumatic journey. And I'm so grateful that you were able to share your story. And I hope that this healed your soul just a little bit more.
Absolutely, it did. It did.
Good. I'm glad to hear it. Well, thank you for joining us this evening on Talk, Listen, Share. This is a beautiful conversation of survivorship with your child. And my child is a rock star. She's a warrior. She's my rock. So thank you, Victoria. I appreciate your time and I love you.
Love you too, Mom. Thank you for your time too.
All right. We'll talk to you soon.